Bunny, Joel and Beth, Jonathan and Stephanie, and all of your children, Rachel, and friends and students of Bunny Weiss. And I think Rabbi Schnitzer is here as well. And Rabbi, thank you for coming. This is a genuine golden age for Jews in America. Not the temporary, fragile, and incomplete golden age of Spain that preceded the Spanish Inquisition, but a genuine, full, and complete integration of Jews into the mainstream of American life in every respect, guaranteed by the Constitution of our country. Barriers that existed as late as the early 1960s, barriers to many institutions of higher education, of professions and occupations, and to acceptance as fully equal citizens have fallen. Thanks in part to laws passed by members of Congress who voted just across the street in the Capitol for historic civil rights legislation. No field of endeavor is closed off or limited to American Jews. With just 2% of the population of this country, Jews make up over 20% of Ivy League student bodies, over 25% of Kennedy Center honorees, almost 40% of Academy Award-winning directors, 51% of Pulitzer Prize-winning nonfiction authors, and to me, most important, over 51% of leading philanthropists in this country. And worldwide, with only 0.2% of the global population, Jews make up almost 30% of Nobel Prize winners in physics and over 30% of Nobel Prize winners in medicine. Religiously, by many measures, we are flourishing. There are over 1,000 full-time Jewish day schools in the United States, and synagogues are sprouting up everywhere. In my hometown of Atlanta, there were 5 synagogues when I grew up. Today, there are over 30. Jews are highly organized to defend their interests and to strengthen the American-Israel relationship. Over 200,000 young Jewish adults in the past 10 years have participated in Operation Birthright, visiting Israel for the first time. Over 100 American universities have Jewish studies programs, including my alma mater, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, when none existed in the 1960s. But the Jewish community in our country is like a great enterprise with 2 very different divisions. One, the one I've been describing, vibrant and healthy, adding to the beautiful mosaic of diversity that is America. But the other division is withering and dysfunctional, disaffiliating, abandoning our 3,500-year tradition at the very time America is most open to accepting it. We are an ever-declining percent of the American population. Attachments to Israel among non-birthright young people are declining. Our birth rates are below simple replacement levels. Indeed, we have the lowest birth rates of any religious group in the United States, averaging less than 2 children per couple. Combined with this is rampant intermarriage, now over 1/2 of all marriages involving a Jewish partner. Where there is a conversion of the non-Jewish spouse to Judaism, the couples are at least, and in most instances, even more Jewishly identified than marriages between 2 people born Jewish. But these conversions occur in less than 10% of the cases. Enter Bernice Bunny Weiss, one of the closest and most long-standing friends my wife and I have. It's really Bunny to the rescue. She had a burning mission to help tackle this problem of Jewish disaffiliation head on. Bunny is a Renaissance woman. She had already graduated from the University of Pittsburgh with a degree in sociology and education. She had already received a master's degree from George Washington University in Women's Studies. She was already a wonderful daughter to her parents, the Kimbells in Pittsburgh, of blessed memory. A great mother to two terrific children, Jonathan and Rachel, now wonderful adults. And a successful businesswoman, owning a Judaic book and gift store that we frequented many times and that was highly successful. But Bunny is a spiritual person with a great love for Judaism, and thankfully she had a special calling to leave behind a very successful business and to become a rabbi. I have a letter that I wrote November 14th, 1984, to recommend her admission to the Academy for Jewish Religion in New York City as a rabbinical student. Frankly, it's one of the best things that I've done to help Judaism flourish in America. Permit me to quote just a few lines of that 1984 recommendation letter. I wrote, "She combines a depth of Jewish knowledge with a conviction and dynamism rarely found. She's a person of rare talents who combines a penetrating and incisive intelligence with a charismatic and lively personality. Her skills at communication and interpersonal relations, so essential to a good rabbi," I wrote, "are in my experience absolutely unparalleled. She relates to people better than anyone I know. She'd be a tremendous asset to your institution, to the rabbinate, and to the Jewish people." Well, did I get it right? Most of you here tonight have been touched by Bunny during her 20 years as a rabbi. But permit me to say that the overwhelming number of you can't possibly know the supreme sacrifice that Bunny made to become a rabbi. She was a person on a mission, and it took that for what she went through. For 5 long years, she commuted every week to and from Washington to New York City to follow her dream, taking classes 3 days a week in New York to earn her rabbinic degree. Frankly, many of her closest friends quietly wondered if she could really do it with the tremendous strain that it took. And yet in 1989, 20 years ago, she graduated from the Academy for Jewish Religion and entered the rabbinate. Initially, she served as an associate rabbi at a major synagogue in the Washington area, Har Shalom. She became a member of the United Jewish Appeal Rabbinic Cabinet and the Washington Board of Rabbis, and received the prestigious Melton Senior Educators Fellowship for Jewish Education and diaspora, spending a year of study in Israel. But Bunny still knew something was missing. She didn't want to be a pulpit rabbi. She wanted to do something to reach a broader audience and to deal with the threat of assimilation. She realized that Jews who would remain Jewish could still fully integrate into the fabric of American life. You could be a committed Jew and a committed American and enjoy the best of both. She knew that this indeed would add to the fabric and richness of American life. And she knew that if intermarriage was not tackled forcefully in terms of trying to convert the non-Jewish spouse, that American Jewry was in trouble. And so she founded and still directs the Washington Institute for Conversion and the Study of Judaism, located in Rockville. She began working with non-Jewish young men and women who were about to embark on a marriage to a Jewish spouse, and others who were simply drawn to the beauties of Judaism. Bunny was never judgmental. She never insisted that the people studying with her convert. Rather, only that they be open-minded about learning about the Jewish traditions, cultures, value, and history. The rest was up to them. She was confident that when they learned about Judaism and the remarkable 3 millennia of Jewish tradition, many would decide to convert on their own. but it was their own volition. And Bunny was right. I personally know several of her students who now have wonderful Jewish homes, suffused with the Jewish values that Bunny imparted to them. She's taught over 300 private students and hundreds more in group classes over the years, including now teaching a course in basic Judaism at the historic 6th and I Street Synagogue. She wrote an excellent book converting to Judaism, Choosing to be Chosen, Personal Stories. And if this isn't enough, she's been the resident rabbi for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines for 10 years. I think Bunny realized that in America today we have such a multiplicity of choices. We have 300 cable outlets and we have the internet. We have choices. And that Judaism would mean increasingly in the 21st century choosing to be Jewish. Even if you were born Jewish, it's choosing to be Jewish. There's so many choices. And what Bunny has done is expose people to make that choice a Jewish choice. Bunny, Rabbi Bernice Weiss, you're a tribute to the Jewish people. You're a tribute to the American people. You've helped strengthen Jewish identity in this great country as few others have done. You've touched thousands of people and enriched their lives, including Fran's and mine. You deserve this wonderful celebration of 20 great years as a rabbi, teacher, motivator, and role model. Bunny, your friends need you, your students need you, the Jewish people need you, and the United States need you, and you've served all of them. We love you, and we hope, as we say in Judaism, that you'll go from strength to strength. Congratulations and mazel tov, and 20 more years.